ati watu wachache, wawili watatu, wameenda kotini, wakahongana kotini, mpango hiyo ikasimamishwa, barabara ikasimamishwa, universal health coverage inasimamishwa, mambo ya housing inasimamishwa.
It is a statement from the head of state, while in Nyandarua accusing the judiciary of colluding with cartels through corrupt dealings that has now sparked outrage in the country. While in Mombasa County today, Azimio leader Raila Odinga was among those that castigated William Ruto's sentiments.
If there was ever any doubt about the malevolent intent of the Kenya Kwanza regime in regard to the Constitution of Kenya, yesterday's attack by Mr. William Ruto on the judiciary removes all the doubts. After executing a civilian coup in the election of 2022 and receiving backing from the judiciary,
Siaya Governor and lawyer James Orengo was quick to call out President William Ruto over the remarks through a post on X, formerly Twitter, terming the statement as an infamy to our constitutional order. Orengo says there is always a legal mechanism of overturning judicial decisions obtained by fraud or for cleaning a rogue judiciary. The office of the president has many tools, and disobedience of inconvenient court orders is certainly not one of them.
Having captured parliament, Ruto now wants to intimidate, subdue, and capture the judiciary. He wants the judges not to hear cases against his policies, dismiss such cases, or always rule in his favor. In other words, Ruto wants to establish an absolute dictatorship.
President Ruto had threatened to defy court orders. Orengo's sentiments were echoed by Third Way Alliance Party leader Ekuru Aukot, who argues that President William Ruto is directly threatening judges and undermining the other arm of government, the judiciary. He is also complicit since he claims to have evidence of corrupt judges but does not want to share with the JSC. Under criminal law, this is culpable.
He is the President of the Republic of Kenya. He's arresting people, taking them to court. Why does he take them to court? Why doesn't he arrest them, take them to committee directly? The law does not provide for that. So the president is off the cuff. And this is the same problem President Uhuru Kenyatta tried. He failed. It is the same problem Kibaki tried in 2003. It failed. He had to learn to cope with the law.
The president has achieved what he wanted. He wanted the nation to have a conversation about some decisions that are made by a few judges. One or two judges do not represent the judiciary.
Others who joined in on the condemnation, including Professor Makau Mutua, who laments that the answer to corrupt judiciary lies not in the court order defiance but a comprehensive reform, sentiments backed by President William Ruto's ally, Senior Counsel Ahmed Rasir. Odinga claims that President William Ruto wants to take the country to a dictatorial trajectory akin to that of the Moi era.
The current level of political and personal attacks on the judiciary by Mr. Ruto is therefore completely unacceptable. Ruto has crossed the line and we will not allow it. Ruto must learn that his best insurance is to obey the law.
The court should also give us confidence in upholding the rule of law. In upholding the rule of law, it's not just about we who are supposed to obey it. There is also the need to ensure that people have got confidence in judicial processes.
Kenya Kwanza has seen a number of its policies shut down in courts on various grounds, including the processes it followed. This includes the housing levy, which the government has been told to go back to the drawing board and navigate proper implementation within 45 days. Maisha Namba project, the social health protection, Haiti police deployment, among others.
It is the people who decide how they are governed. It is not their leaders who decide how they think they should govern it. Article 10 of the Constitution is very clear. Public participation, not state house participation. There is nowhere in the Constitution you will find that state house participation. It is the public participation. the voice of Kenyans. If they don't want the houses, that is be it. If they want houses made of gorofas, they will say it.
The president's outburst on Tuesday, many argue, contradicts his pledge during the campaigns and his inauguration, where he promised to protect the independence of the judiciary. This was followed by the appointment of judges that former President Uhuru Kenyatta had refused to appoint on grounds of values and incriminating files.
Even as president, I have limitations, and I should respect those limitations. And all other arms of government have their limitations, and we must all live within the bounds of our mandate so that we can have a country that is based on the rule of law.
Lawyer Danstan Omari argues that the president ought to respect the law, lest he takes the same trajectory as his predecessor.
This is not something strange. In Kisumu, the retired president, President Uhuru Kenyatta, gave an address down to the judiciary. Mother Koome had just been sworn in as a Chief Justice. The threats were to make sure the BBI passes. The judiciary failed the BBI. So what President Ruto needs to understand, and he will understand within a very short time, is that nobody is against his agenda to develop his policies.
But is the Attorney General to blame for the government problems with courts?
There is nobody listening to Senior Counsel A.G. Muturi and Senior Counsel Solicitor General Mose. The courts are dealing with it. That is why Kenyans put power at the courts.
The former president had a back-and-forth fights with the David Maraga-led judiciary after the nullification of the 2017 election. The back-and-forth saw the president slash funding to the judiciary.
To be the last person to stand and appear like nakusomea.
Hapana, that one, no, hiyo unconstitutional, hiyo itakuja review siku hiyo na hiyo. Alafu the same mouth nataka pesa. Sasa itatoka wapi?
The former president completely disregarded court orders and disobeyed court orders. Here is a man who is complaining about these things and saying, surely we should have a conversation about these issues. And the other one was a man who disobeyed them. Here, we cannot be hypothetical and start saying that William Ruto has so far not disobeyed any law. Any court order, he has not disobeyed any.
Analysts opined that President William Ruto is quickly learning the ropes of governing despite being critical of the former head of state.
The president is waking up to the reality that is how Kenya should be governed. Kenyans spoke on the 27th of August 2010 and gave themselves a constitution. That is the constitution that creates the office of the president. That is the constitution that gives him the power to govern. That is the constitution that tells him how to govern Kenyans. It is not about his own way to govern. It is how Kenyans said they'll be governed.
President William Ruto was among those that opposed the creation of an ombudsman office that was set to overlook the judiciary, a move that the proponents of the BBI said would see and tame corruption in the judiciary. Politicians have been called out over doublespeak. The former premier in 2012 termed the courts as fake. In 2017, Odinga held the court's decision to nullify the elections, but when the Supreme Court upheld his loss in 2022, Raila disagreed with the court's decision and even criticizing the judges. Today, Odinga is on President William Ruto's neck, demanding he respects the court.
If they become rogue, we have power as the people of this country to reform them and send them home. We can lead a 1 million march to the judiciary to say, "Kwendeni nyumbani." And they would have no choice but to go home. So the judiciary should not threaten, blackmail the people of this country after they have done the message that they've done.
Raila has called the judiciary in the past Kotibandia. But still, he went back to the same court when he had a disagreement. He called it Kotibandia, but he went back there further in 2017 He even went back to the same court. In 2013, he called it Court Bandia. In 2017 and 2022, he still went to the same court. So, these are sentiments we express in the moment of the reality or the realization of how the law has played out. The president could be right or wrong, but inviting us to a conversation is not a problem.
Sisi tukisema hatukukubali, lakini tuliheshimu uamuzi ya mahakama. Ilikuwa ni chungu sana kwetu, lakini tofauti ingekuwa ni tungesema atisi hatuheshimu uamuzi ya mahakama, watu wangeenda kwa vita na nchi hii ingeteketea.
Martin Opio, K24 TV, Nairobi.